There was a South Park video that just popped up in my feed, South Park episodes that almost canceled the show. And I've seen some wild shit with you guys. So I'm thinking there were certain episodes that almost canceled the show. What could almost cancel a show where every episode is so dynamically cursed? So thank you for ruining my YouTube recommended feed, and let's just jump right into it.
From improper sex education at South Park Elementary to the showing of Muhammad, these are South Park episodes that almost canceled the show. Did you know Stan's parents caught him inappropriately touching his dog? Well, now you unfortunately do.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
And it happened in our first episode on the list.
Oh.
Season 5, Episode 7,
Oh, no.
titled Proper Condom Use.
Oh.
Yep, you heard right. That's the actual title of the episode.
Oh.
In this episode, Stan's parents catch him touching their dog, Sparky, in
Oh my god, dude, how is this a recurring joke? You'd think that they could have made this joke happen once and not need to do it again.
a place that he really shouldn't be touched, and accused the teachers at South Park Elementary of not teaching proper sex education. This, in turn, leads to a bunch of sexually inexperienced teachers giving the children wrong information about sex education.
Oh, good.
Truly a recipe for disaster. It first results
good.
in the girls making the boys wear condoms at all times so that they don't catch any STDs.
Makes
Well,
sense.
I mean, I guess it would work, right?
Yeah, true.
But this already outrageous premise only gets worse from here. The episode also features
This is all in the same episode?
Mr. Garrison demonstrating how to put a condom on a fake penis, using only his mouth, to a kindergarten
Oh my god, this happens?
class. Yep, you heard that right. A kindergarten class. It's a scene that's both hilarious and cringe-inducing, making viewers squirm in their seats. So you
Dude managed to get it all the way to the base, goddamn.
might be thinking, South Park is known for its outrageous scenes. How could this episode be considered controversial? Well, it turns out that not everyone has the same sense of humor as the creators of South Park. In fact, in Australia,
As the Twitter people that like to remind me that I'm horrible for giving South Park a platform.
episode's rating was increased, and the time slot was changed due to its content. And in the UK, Sky One actually refused to air the episode.
I wonder why.
But luckily, not everyone is as easily offended. In the
Let's
US,
go.
Comedy Central, MTV, and
Oh
Channel
my
4
God.
all had no problems airing the full,
Yep.
uncensored episode. Whether it was the fact that it was the South Park school kids partnered with such a sex-focused episode,
I think, frankly, it was because Twitter wasn't around yet. This episode predated Twitter, so Murica was much more into the whole fuck yeah mindset.
or the crude acts shown during the episode, it was
Oh no, I hate this scene.
clear
I had to see this scene twice today. Oh my god, I hate this.
this episode crossed the line more than once. And speaking of
Please stop.
crossing the line, the next episode that almost sunk South Park is Season 7,
Oh,
Episode
God.
12's All About Mormons.
Oh, let's
in
go.
this episode, there's a new kid in South Park named Gary Harrison,
The
which
Morbid.
the South Park boys hate.
Oh.
Stan is sent to beat him up by the others, but discovers that Gary is actually a really nice guy. What a wholesome turn of events.
That's nice.
Stan ends up at his house for dinner, where he learns that the Harrisons are practicing Mormons. Religion is always a touchy subject, but South Park always has no problem poking fun at it. And this episode is no different. This episode is notable for its satirical take on religion, specifically the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And after the family shares with
I mean, to be fair, if you're familiar with Mormonism, it does sound pretty wild. As far as religions go, I think it's one of the most out there ones.
Stan the story of Mormonism's founding, Randy pays them a visit, with the intention of telling them not to proselytize his son. But when he discovers, just like Stan, that the Harrisons are actually really nice people, Randy decides that he and his family should be Mormons too. The episode is a classic example of South Park's signature style of humor, which involves poking fun at taboo subjects and sensitive subjects. You can't say they're not
what they
consistent,
do.
as they would later also take aim at Scientology.
Now, you see, Scientology is bullshit. It's a bullshit cult. What?
trapped in the closet. Parker and Stone animate the actual history of the religion, reveling in the absurdity of its origin mythology, and implicitly criticizing its followers for believing such nonsense.
Well,
However, the Harrisons are depicted as incredibly kind, moral people.
Do they do that with everything?
Which suggests that the show is not mocking individual believers, but rather the absurdities of organized religion, which is a nice thought.
I don't know. I don't feel, which is a nice thought. That's an interesting take. Their story spot. I feel like that's it's a pretty subjective take. They make fun of everything. They make fun of everything equally. They're idiots in every group, so they'll make fun of every group based on the idiots in those groups. That's all good.
Maybe South Park does have a heart. The backlash was as expected. The LDS Church issued a statement calling the episode gross, and was clearly not happy with the representation that was depicted. But
you know that it's representing something well if someone calls it gross. That's just a good sign.
short of demanding an apology or the cancellation of reruns, this controversy was another example of South Park's willingness to take on sensitive topics and push boundaries.
Ooh.
A side note worth mentioning are that Parker and Stone actually took their Mormon jokes to Broadway years later
All right.
with the smash hit Book of Mormon.
There is no way Book of Mormon came from the South Park guys.
But surprisingly, the
My
church
God.
was much more of a good sport about the play, taking out playbill ads with the headline, "You've seen the play, now read the book." Although the
Damn.
church took the episode and play in their stride,
I did
the
not know
same
that.
can't be said for China in regard to
Ooh.
our next episode.
All right.
Season 12's
Oh, God.
episode 8,
I love when China hates things. It means they're usually cool.
The China Problem.
I thought it was gonna be like something about Taiwan, something about,
In this episode, Cartman becomes convinced that China is planning to invade America. And
he might not be wrong.
after watching the Beijing Olympics on TV, he establishes an organization called the American Liberation Front
Yes.
to resist the threat, and recruits Butters to join him. You know, just the usual South Park plotline, but it only gets more outrageous from here. While Cartman is on his mission, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny watch Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
Okay.
and feel that the filmmakers have ruined the iconic character and film. This seems like a completely unrelated plot, but trust us, it all ties together.
All right,
The kids
okay.
imagine some graphic scenes of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas sexually assaulting Indiana.
Wait,
which is a disturbing sight, even for veteran South Park watchers.
Wait, what?
And has some fans
Why?
believing they went far on this one, with the scene more disturbing than funny. The episode goes up another notch from there, and as the
Oh my
boys
God!
have Spielberg and Lucas arrested, Cartman dresses up in stereotypical Chinese clothing to infiltrate a local Chinese restaurant, and Butters shoots a man in his genitals.
I mean, whatever. That happens to the best of us.
To which Cartman was outraged. Yep, the character that killed a kid's parents and fed him them was outraged.
Wait, what? Huh? What? What? I didn't see that. Wait, hold up. That happened? Oh. Well, I guess we're gonna have to start from the beginning. I guess we have to watch all 26 seasons together for me to really appreciate it.
How could you, Butters? This episode has it all. Stereotypes, violence, and outrageous plot lines. Not surprisingly, the episode caused quite a bit of controversy, especially in China. The depiction of Chinese officials as censorious and ruthless angered many in China, which wouldn't be the first or the last time. The controversy also
Yep,
caused
that's not
financial
surprising.
losses for the show's producers, and there
Bro, this show made them so much money. Come on.
were fears that it would lead to the show's cancellation. However,
Hey, he spelled cancellation right that time.
creators of South Park continued to push boundaries and refused to back down.
You see, I think that's actually respectable. Don't tarnish your work, okay? Like, don't sell out, as it were, and just make not edgy comedy. I think that's very important for any content creator. Not to be edgy or make racist jokes or whatever. Obviously, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I mean, if you build a brand based on something, if you betray that brand, it's much worse than just even letting it die. Because you're betraying the people that are subscribed to you. You're betraying the people that watch you, that think they know you.
But one boundary they probably should have stayed away from is when they decided to show a depiction of the Prophet Muhammad in Season 10, Episodes 3 to 4. In this episode, Cartman tries to stop a Family Guy episode from airing because...
Dude, that is the most based motivation of any protagonist I have ever seen.
He thinks it's not funny, and because Family Guy plans to show an image of Muhammad, which has sparked threats from terrorist groups. Talk about a meta episode. This episode is controversial for several reasons, but one of the main ones is the depiction of Muhammad. Unlike their earlier Super Best Friends episode, which also featured Muhammad, Comedy Central decided to censor the image of Muhammad in Cartoon Wars due to the previous controversy of Jyllands-Posten, who was a Danish newspaper that published 12 cartoons featuring the Prophet Muhammad, resulting in a dozen countries boycotting Danish goods, embassies, ports, and Danish people being advised to not travel to Muslim countries. Crazy stuff.
Holy crap!
This decision shows just how much times had changed and how sensitive the topic of Muhammad had become. Despite the controversy, the episode is actually very critical of the whole situation, and as a meta episode, it really does top the charts. Another side note to the episode was the shots fired at Family Guy, as it was released at a time when Family Guy was at its peak, gaining an average viewership of 8 million, which was more successful than South Park at the time. This also made it a brave move for the creators to mock a show that was king of television for the moment. However, according to Matt and Trey, the creators of The Simpsons and King of the Hill both sent kind messages of agreement following the episode's airing.
Damn!
This suggests that they are not alone in their opinions of their distaste for Family Guy. And
so
if
wild.
You're a Family Guy fan, it's recommended you probably not watch this episode. The episode will forever change the way you look at the cutaway segments and manatees. If you don't want any more information, it's best you don't ask.
That was fine. That's interesting. I didn't realize that there were like real world repercussions to the jokes of South Park. I didn't actually think South Park jokes had genuine repercussions like this. That's kind of wild. That was a good video. Very interesting.
Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.